Well, for more insight on Romney's big night in Tampa, we're joined via Skype by VOA's Doug Bernard, who is at the RNC. Hi, Doug.
Well, hello there from a very excited Tampa, Florida.
I imagine. So yesterday, of course, we heard from the VP pick, Paul Ryan. Now today, as we mentioned earlier, this is a very defining night for Mitt Romney. Tell us, what should we expect to hear that will win him more votes and voters?
Well, that is exactly the question. Polls are showing that maybe a third to a little bit more of Americans don't really have a sense of who Mitt Romney is, and or they may not really like to him. And it's been said by a number of people, even some of his supporters, that he's not the easiest person to warm to. So the campaign tonight is in search for those magic words that are going to connect Mitt Romney with the American voting public and give them a sense as to who this man is, and to provide some comfort level as to what he's about and what a Romney administration may look like.
So far, have the speakers who have come before him, have they helped make that case for him? I mean, we heard from his wife, of course, the VP pick, and of course, the keynote speaker the other night, Chris Christie of New Jersey. Have they helped in any way?
Well, as we've said before, these conventions are really an exercise in stagecraft. So all of the speeches up to now have been designed to highlight some part of Mitt Romney. You mentioned Ann Romney, his wife. She was designed to warm him up a little bit. Paul Ryan yesterday really designed some out in the policy arena, particularly focusing on economy and the jobs. Those are the themes we've been hearing over and over. Mm-hmm. However, Thursday night, the theme here tonight is America We Believe In. So I think what we're going to hear from Mitt Romney is not only who he is, but why that makes him a Republican, mm-hmm. and why his ideas are better for the country than the ideas of Barack Obama.
And actually, you know, I want us to go back to the point you just mentioned about what makes a Republican, or who is a Republican. We know that there's going to be the Democratic National Convention next week. As we're here talking about the RNC, who is a Republican? What is his or her beliefs? What are you seeing there that is a reflection of that party's image?
Well, that's the question that really strikes to the heart of it. And I think the candidacy of Mitt Romney is really bringing this to the fore. You know, we heard just a little bit earlier in the report from Suzanne Presto some dissatisfaction a little bit still with the Romney-Ryan ticket about social issues. So who is a Republican? Well, if you look around the convention hall, it tends to be a little bit older than the average American. It tends to be a little bit whiter than the average American, maybe a little bit more Southern. But that being said, there is a real debate going on within the Republican Party. Yes, they tend to believe less government is better than more government. They tend to believe that individual effort and entrepreneurship is more important than government assistance and programs to help everybody. That being said, as I say, Mitt Romney's nomination, I think, is really bringing this question to the fore. In other words, is a Republican always anti-abortion or sometimes anti-abortion? Is a Republican pro-intervention in Iran or Syria or anti-intervention? You know, all of these questions are on the table, and they're really, for the benefit of the party, a lot of the delegates, they're sort of putting them aside for the moment. They really want to put their best face forward. So it's a great question, but it's still an outstanding one, I think.
Thank you so much, Doug. I'm going to squeeze in one quick one. I see, or have not heard, about the former president of the U.S., George Bush, who is also a Republican. Any reason?
Yes, he appeared by videotape, but he was not here. The reason that he said a few weeks ago, he said, in 2008, I, quote, crawled out of the swamp of American politics, and I have no intentions of going back. So
all right.
He seems...
That's all we have time for. Well, thank you so much, Doug Bernard, joining us from Tampa, Florida, where he's been covering the Republican National Convention for us.